I just proved to myself. I feel like life's just about that. It's just proving to yourself that you're capable of doing what you set out to do. And then that builds confidence with yourself. And then the more confidence you have with yourself, the more opportunities you're able to take in life.
Somehow I woke up out in Beverly, fucked up, smelling like that bourbon, and I end up alone. I'm not certain. Yeah, the girls impolite in the club every night. That's how it goes when you Hollywood perfect.
In a profession where only 1.7% of the individuals actually make it to the big time, Diego Garcia Leal aims to kick out the odds as he embarks on a spiritual journey to the big leagues. Diego, it was a pleasure to see you again, brother.
You too.
What's happening?
Just the usual, training, playing games, having interviews like these. Mm-hmm. Yeah, just living life right now. Yeah.
What makes you different to everyone else trying to make it pro?
Silver.
It's a great question, and I can't speak for what everyone else is doing, but at least from what I'm seeing on social media, I try to incorporate all the different aspects of life into one. I'm trying to make it pro as a footballer, but that doesn't mean I just focus on the football aspects of what it takes to make it there. Spiritual, mental, physical. Those are the kind of the three pillars, and within those are so many different areas that you can explore to not only grow in those areas, but also complement the one that you're mainly focused on. So that's kind of what I preach about.
And how vital is the spiritual, the mental, and the physical to the training that you do?
For me, it's everything, because you can just train, but without the right mental, without the right mindset, without the right self-belief, self-confidence, that training's only going to get you so far. When it comes time to perform under pressure, you have to be whole, I believe, as a human being to actually have the confidence to perform and to implement that training.
So share with us a little bit about what you do before a training session or a game.
Visualization is really important to me, but rather than just only doing that before training or a game, I'll kind of do it throughout my day, throughout my life. I always say treat life as a meditation, like rather than just spending 5 minutes before you go to bed to visualize or to focus on working on your mind and calming it down. Treat every moment of your day like that. That's kind of how I view it.
So give us a little bit about an ideal day.
An ideal day?
Yeah.
Okay. Wake up early, get a good breakfast in, get a light training session and maybe like a walk, just to get the blood going after. Eat again, work on social media, and have training again later that day. So I feel like my days are fairly simple. I get the things I need to get done, and that's about it. Yeah.
So you're a social media influencer.
Yeah. So social media is a big part of my life. It's helped me get a lot of opportunities. So it kind of goes hand in hand with trying to make it as a professional in the football industry. But yeah, so I do dedicate quite a bit of time into that.
And what do you mainly focus on?
In terms of the social media space?
Yeah.
So in terms of platforms, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, and I did at one point have a podcast, sort of slowed it down, but I'd like to, be consistent in all those different areas, just because, not only is social media beneficial for my career as a footballer, but it also brings me a lot of joy in terms of the creative output that I can put into it.
And what content do you provide?
So I've kind of niched down into mental motivation for younger athletes, and just because I believe this is something that's very undervalued. It's not talked about a lot in the space. You have endless amounts of training videos, but you don't have endless amounts of you have very few mental training videos. And I think motivation is very easy. It's very easy to speak motivation, but it's very difficult to actually explain how to implement it consistently in your life, and or I guess the end result of motivation. But yeah, anyways, that's kind of my niche.
And how many years of experience, or what courses or what training did you do in order to be able to provide the advice to the online world?
So that's an interesting point because, you know, I technically don't have any, like, what certificate can you have for meditation? You know, maybe you can take courses, and I have taken courses. I've been to many lectures but nothing that I can show a paper and be like, I'm a professional.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, part of that is I don't believe that you necessarily have to have a paper proving that you are capable of doing something. You know, in this world, unfortunately, you know, it doesn't work like that. But I believe social media is going to take, you know, it brings different rules than this corporate, like, sort of system that we live in right now. Yeah.
So you mentioned you don't have the the qualifications. How do you manage to convince your followers that what you're saying is factual and is worthwhile them also jumping on the trend?
Well, first of all, what is factual, right? Like, when it comes to something that is like an idea, when you're speaking about ideas, how do you determine them to be fact? Because when I'm talking about meditation, when I'm talking about mindfulness, I'm really just asking them to introspect upon themselves. So like, what certification do I need really to encourage introspection? I have nothing to prove, right? I'm not trying to convince them to do what I do or whatever. I'm simply suggesting ideas, and people agree with them because A, they try them and it works for them, or B, they listen to my personal experiences and then, you know,
they resonate with it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So I feel like rather than trying to convince, portray, and if people, you know, if it resonates with them, they will listen.
And what impact have you had on the people that follow you? Is anybody came together? Has anybody sent you a message talking about how you've impacted them in a certain way?
Yeah, quite a few. Like, I get messages every day and multiple of people just telling me, you know, the advice that I give out, the stories that I put out, it really impacts them. And to me, that's kind of an amazing thing to hear because I'm speaking off the top of my head. I'm just speaking like what feels right intuitively, and to hear that people actually resonate with some of the stuff I talk about is very satisfying. But again, I'm not doing it for the gratification of other people, you know, boosting me. That's not why. That's not my intention. My intention is just to share what I truly believe, and, you know, try and help other people if they resonate. Yeah.
Right. Now, earlier on, we talked about the 1.7% of players who make it, and those are players who are on a prestigious full ride scholarship. So, how do you anticipate the odds improving?
I don't really care about the odds, just to be completely honest with you. I believe that everyone has their own path in life, and I feel a calling to this. And regardless of the percentages or the odds of making it, I believe I'll find a way. And, you know, I can foresee it. I feel it happening. And with just by taking it day by day and doing what I'm doing, continuing to build connections and to find a pathway that works for me, I feel like I'll make it. I mean, specifically in Canada, or I guess I should say BC, because I feel like BC is kind of behind other provinces in Canada, Quebec and Ontario. It seems like football here is growing, and that's a good thing. The pathways to making it as a professional seem to be developing. I see that over the next like 3 to 5 years, there being a legitimate, you know, a legitimate pathway to professional. Either that means more professional teams in the province, or you know, better academies, or, you know, just like what they have in other countries, what we're lacking here. You know.
Right. Now, you mentioned other academies and semi-professional and professional teams. Do you think that also the influx of social media and the large investors with networks to major clubs, such as the one with the Tigers, also open up those pathways?
Absolutely. And you mentioned social media. I personally, like, as a side, I've never really talked about this before, but I also want to eventually help young footballers, not only in terms of the mental and I guess the physical and making, but also in terms of the pathways. Like, I want to have an impact. I want to use my social media eventually to create an impact here in BC for young footballers, so they can have what I didn't have. And that's a side goal of mine. I've never really talked about this before, but I'll mention it here. Yeah. Right,
and it's a fantastic idea. And already your social media presence is growing. What was the secret behind the growth?
So, there's no secret. There's no one, and honestly, it hasn't even grown. Like, I don't. First of all, I don't view it as having. I view the numbers as a byproduct of an investment of my energy. I just stuck with what I I just stuck with my intuition. Like I just continue to output what I truly believe is beneficial, and you know, continuing to elevate in terms of the creative output, you know, the technical things, editing and delivery of messages that improves over time, but the remaining true to what I believe has stayed the same. So it's just a consistency of that, and it does take time. So I don't believe there's one single secret that I could say and then someone would grow, because otherwise everyone would be on social media growing, right?
Right.
Yeah.
So you've just talked about the growth of your social media and your ideas for the future. What's your ultimate end goal with regards to your multidisciplinary blending of sports and alternative health and well-being? I think you mentioned on it a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, just to bring awareness, just to make it more like just to bring awareness to it. I don't know, because I just, from my personal experience and being on social media and seeing other players my age and younger, their focus is very linear. Like when they say they want to make it as professional, it's very linear, and they don't even entertain the idea that these other areas of life could have an impact on their pathway. So yeah, I just bring more awareness, I guess.
Now you talked about living linearly, these athletes living linearly, and in your Live Life Complex podcast, you said life shouldn't be lived linearly. Could you expand on that?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like I've touched on this a couple of times already, but it's just the idea that life is complex, right, inherently, and it should be embraced that way, at least in my opinion, right? And the idea that something is complex is viewed as like a negative thing, is like it's overwhelming. I view that as more of like an exciting thing. Like the fact that it is complex means that there are many different pathways that you can endeavor into in your life, and that should be exciting because each one complements the other. So I feel like that's just like a bit of a summary as to what Live Life Complex means when I do say that or put that out there. But yeah, I don't believe life should be lived linearly, because there's so much more to life than just one pathway.
And let's talk about that, because you went on a journey to Portugal and Malta and Uruguay also. Or?
That was a couple years before,
right?
Yeah.
And tell us about the journey to pro, because you have a YouTube series called Journey to Pro series.
Yeah. So that was an amazing experience. You know, it was very off the cuff. I was planning to go to Portugal in January, but it came a couple months earlier, and I went over and took the opportunity head on, and it was one of the best experiences of my life. You know, regardless if anything tangible in terms of a contract came out of it, it was the best in like monetary and energy investment that I've ever made in my life, just because I feel like I grew as a human being. And like I said, life is not linear. Just because I came in with the intention of growing in this one path, many other paths benefited because of it, right? Many other aspects of myself benefited as a result of it. And I view that as just as valuable, you know, as any other path benefiting from it. So yeah, I mean, it was an amazing experience. If I'm not going to talk about it in too much detail here, because so much did happen, but if you are curious about checking it out, you can go to my YouTube channel and watch that there. So yeah, I've documented the
Journey to Pro.
Yeah, Journey to Pro. I've got like in different seasons. We got Portugal, Malta, and so
brilliant. There's I was watching a documentary from 2010, I believe it was. I might have got my dates wrong, but it was a documentary about Jason DeVos and how he turned pro. And he went to England. He lived on a diet of beans on toast. He lived like as a squatter almost in digs. And there he is. He was the captain of the Vancouver Whitecaps and the United States national team. Now, when I was watching that, I thought to myself, that's not going to happen again. And here we are in 2021 talking about a young 20-year-old lad who went and did the exact same and got tryouts at certain clubs. What was the secret behind it? Tell us about an average day. Did you have contact with these clubs prior? Was there a middleman, a network, or were you just knocking on doors?
Honestly, a bit of both, or a bit of all of those things, because one of them I had contact prior, one of them was through a middleman while I was there, and the other one was knocking on a door. So yeah, I mean, I guess an average day, like, it's a lot of confusion, because every day brings something new. Every day I swear to God, there was a new opportunity. There was a new pathway that we could have taken. Like at one point, I was with a teammate. We were both over there. So it made things a little bit easier being with someone and sharing the hardships, I guess, of a new country, new language, trying to travel with teams, rather than just doing it on my own, so I was lucky in that sense. But, you know, at one point we were going to go over to Finland because there was an opportunity over there, and then that didn't happen. At one point I was going to go down to the south of Portugal, we were in the north, and leave my teammate behind to go trial with a team that I had been in contact with over there, but that didn't happen. So every day there was something new, and honestly that made it really exciting, but that also made it very, I guess that could have made it very stressful. But I feel like the mindset that you have to have coming into these opportunities is very important. Otherwise, it could tear you down. You could burn out just due to the amount of pressure. Pressure in quotations, because it's all in your mind, right? But yeah, an average day. Sometimes there was training. If we didn't have a team to trial with, then there was no training and it was stressful because we were actively trying to find another team to train with. So there was definitely a period of like a month where we didn't have a team because the one trial didn't work out and we're looking for the next one. And you know, there's miscommunications through the middleman, and it was a wild ride.
And how do you knock on the door of a Sporting Lisbon or a Porto and say, "Hi, I'd like a trial"?
So you can't do that to a Sporting Lisbon or a Porto. You have to start from the lower division. So that's what I did. It was a third division club, or fourth division club, I can't remember. But yeah, I mean, it was honestly an accident. We were looking for a field to train on, and we were on Google Maps trying to find patches of grass, and it was like, oh, there's this field here, and so we walked there, and it was like an hour and a half walk.
Is that by the train station?
Well, yeah, we took a train and then like out to like the city next to Porto, and then walked, and turns out there was a club, and I was like, you know what, I'm looking for a trial anyways while I wait for this other one to kind of come through. Let's ask them if I can. I explained to them my situation. Obviously I don't speak Portuguese. Luckily one of them spoke broken English and managed to make it work, and that actually went really well, but it was too late. You know, it was in November, and the transfer window was in October, so yeah, that was too late.
It's crazy because a similar thing happened to me. I was in Ecuador, and you know, I would walk past the Liga de Quito training sessions every morning, and it was so much more accessible than it is here, even though it's a stronger league. You know, they play in the
so much more accessible. What's
the championship in South America called?
Libertadores.
Copa Libertadores. Yeah, exactly. And but the access was easier to meet the players. I went over to a university coach, and you know, was introduced to him, and you know, he's a good coach. Okay, great. Let's give him a tryout. And here I was on the university team, training with them and coaching them. And you know, whereas here in North America, it's tougher. It's a more capitalistic view.
There you go. That's why. And because over there you realize they have nothing to lose. Like if they have a player on for a training session, what do they have to lose? If he's really good, amazing, you just found the gem, right? But if he's not, then you let him go. It's fine. Right. But here, for some reason, you're not able to do that, right?
Yeah. How did you find yourself in the United States playing in the NISA League for Space United?
That was another opportunity that kind of came out of nowhere. In fact, it did come through social media. And playing over there, again, it was an amazing experience. It really helped me develop as a player, and you know, first time captaining a team, especially in like with a brand new team. It really playing a brand new position too. For like first year playing as like a center back, and so it was a lot of new things. It was a really good test of my mindset because technically I could fold under all this pressure. It's like a new team, captain, new position, new country. You know, like semi-professional, professional league, and I feel like it was a very good learning experience for me, and it went really well. So I just proved to myself. I feel like life's just about that. It's just proving to yourself that you're capable of doing what you set out to do, and then that builds confidence with yourself. And then the more confidence you have with yourself, the more opportunities you're able to take in life. You know.
What's your ideal position?
That's a great question. I don't know what position. I feel like right back right now. I feel like that's where I play best. But
your current coach is not playing you right back.
Well, no, I don't. No. But here's the thing. I played as a right wing, center attacking mid, striker. My youth career, and then only recently when I was right back, and then to center back, and now back to right back. I feel like I can play everywhere. And I'm a very like adaptable player.
Versatile.
Versatile. Yeah. So I don't know what position. I don't know. Whatever the coach needs.
You have to keep figuring it out. Right? What's your plan B or plan C? Because social media is your plan B, right?
Well, I mean, it's not. I mean, here's the thing about plan A, plan B, plan C. It's good to have other areas of
expertise.
Yeah.
So,
Plenty.
I wouldn't say your social media is your plan B because it's part of your training.
Yeah.
So, what is your plan B?
I mean, in my head, I've kind of got, you know, if this doesn't work out, I just go to school and just. But I don't want to do that. I don't really see that happening.
Right.
But, you know,
what would you do if you went to school?
I'd probably like kinesiology or something. I don't know. I'm not interested. Honestly, I don't find like. Maybe study social media. I don't know, but I feel like you can do that just by practicing social media in real life. You know, I'd rather apprentice for someone or that's already doing it rather than go to school. I mean, I'm all in on Plan A, like because I believe, but there are aspects to it that can also branch out. Like you said, social media, video editing. As I continue with that, I can learn to video edit, graphic design, and these are all things that I'm kind of like learning skills as I go.
Okay. That
not only help Plan A, but if like a need be, I can transition to something else. Yeah.
Great. How would you describe the journey you're on?
It's very emotional. I feel like I don't know. I forget the word that I used the last time we did an interview, but I would say it's emotional. Yeah. Because, well, it's emotional inherently, but it's up to you to not let the emotions get to you and to diverge you off your pathway, right? Because it's very easy to do, especially. But I'm not gonna lie, like I do let the emotions get to me sometimes. You know, I remember a point in Malta I was crying because I was just like standing out there. We were in the residence of the team and we were living there, and I was looking out on like this foreign like country, and it was nighttime, and I was talking to my mom, and I was just like, we didn't have a team, the season got canceled, and I was just like, I don't know what I'm gonna do. I don't know, like I'm 20 and I'm gonna head back to Canada, and I don't have a team, and I don't have a pathway like that. I don't know what's next, and that was scary. Especially after being through Portugal and having like all these opportunities and seeing what it was like so close, and then everything like it was just gone, and it was just heading back to Canada.
And do you anticipate yourself going abroad again in search of those same opportunities? Yeah,
definitely. I'm just kind of waiting for the whole pandemic to subside, just because I don't want to go overseas again to have the season canceled once again, right? So because that happened to me twice. Yeah. And yeah.
Good. Okay. Final question: who's your favorite coach?
Why would you ask that? Favorite coach in terms of like professional, like
your favorite coach ever
that I've had.
Like you didn't even say it. Let's cut this interview.
You know, there's one coach that I had recently, and I think his name's like Sarshar or something. Like really? That. Yeah. I haven't known him for very long, but he's a really good guy.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, enough of my ego. All right, brother. Diego, it was a pleasure talking to you, man. It always is, and it's a pleasure coaching you. You're a fantastic lad and a fantastic player, and it's wonderful. I'm really having fun with this team.
Yeah,
so,
it's great. Yeah.
Long may it continue, and I wish you much success in your progression, your development, and ultimately making a pro.
Thank you very much. Thank you for your time.
All right, we'll see you next time for episode 12. And it's sunny again in Trap Studios every single time. Yay!